Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to start a new series on my channel called Tips for insert whatever I'm talking about, and I decided I'm just going to talk about visiting different places or doing certain things related to traveling. So the first one I'm going to talk about is visiting Banff National Park in Calgary, Canada. And I went there, I don't know how long ago, maybe a little over a month ago. It was my first time visiting, but I feel like I kind of learned a lot about visiting Banff, and I feel like I have some tips that I could share with people, so I decided I just wanted to talk about that today. My first tip is to make sure you do a lot of research before you go on which trails you want to hike and what you want to see, because there's a lot to do there, and I feel like the only really popular thing is Lake Louise and Moraine Lake. And there's just a lot of different trails and things that you can see, and I feel like it's always a good idea to do more research rather than less research when it comes to traveling, because you don't want to find out that you missed out on something that you really would have liked to have done. So yeah, that's something I definitely wish I did more, because my trip was a series of visiting a bunch of different places. I have a video on that trip that I will link below, but yeah, I didn't really do that much research because I didn't really have time, and we were only there for one day, so we had limited time anyway, and I knew that I wanted to see Lake Louise and Moraine Lake, so I would just say do a lot of research. The next tip is try to go in the off season, which I know a lot of people talk about that in regards to visiting anywhere, but Banff especially is super crowded. It's Canada's most visited national park and the oldest, I'm pretty sure, and people go there from all over the world, so it definitely can get crowded. I went during kind of off season, but also not super off season. It was early fall when I went, and if you go much later than when I went, it would be really cold and probably snowy. I think it's snowy there already. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, definitely pay attention to when busy season is and when people are in school and when holidays are and all of that stuff, because you definitely don't want to go during the most busy time, because you probably won't be able to park. Okay, and then in relation to that, my next tip is the parking situation at the lakes is really complicated. They have pretty small parking lots, and they definitely fill up really fast. I remember I was reading a comment on, what was it? It was on TripAdvisor, and someone said that they got there at 4 a.m. and the parking lots were already full. And that just kind of freaked me out, so we decided that we were going to get there before the sun rose, which I think is a really good idea, to be there before sunrise, or at least at sunrise. Actually, we tried to get there before the sun rose, but we only made it a little bit after sunrise. By the time we got there, Moraine Lake parking lot was already full, and then the Lake Louise parking lot was probably the 8/10 full. It was mostly full, but then there were still maybe 15 spots or something. We definitely made it just in time. If we would have been much later, I don't think we would have gotten a spot. And if you can, I heard that the parking lots kind of empty out also in the evening, so if you go later in the evening, I think you'll be able to get a spot as well. But if you have to, I know a lot of people do this, but you can take a shuttle. I think it goes from the city of Banff. I'm not exactly sure because we didn't take it. I couldn't take the shuttle because I was bringing my 2 dogs, but and they don't allow dogs. But yeah, they have a shuttle that makes it so you don't have to worry about parking. And I know that also fills up really fast, because the morning of, when we thought we weren't going to get a spot, my husband was like, oh, maybe I can drop you off with the dogs and then I can drive to where the shuttle leaves and then take the shuttle and then meet you. but there was no tickets available, and also that wouldn't have worked because like there's not really anywhere to walk if you get dropped off. There's not really somewhere to like drop people off, and if the parking lot's full, they won't let you even drive up to it. So I wouldn't plan on doing that either. If you're gonna get a shuttle ticket, I would definitely just try to get it in advance. Okay, so then the next tip is to bring plenty of food and water, just because it was like so cold and dry there, and we were really thirsty doing a bunch of hiking and walking around, and there's not really a lot of places to refill your water bottles. It took me, like, I was looking everywhere for somewhere to refill water bottles, and I never found a place to do it. I just had to buy water at like a cafe there, which was really expensive. So I would say bring like actual like jugs of water, or at least several water bottles, and also snacks, because we didn't have enough snacks, so we got really hungry and we wanted to get food. And the cafe by Moraine Lake was where we went because we struggled to find like cafes and stuff, but food there was so expensive. I think it was like $8 for like a tiny samosa like this big, and then like just like basic stuff like a corn dog or a hot dog was like $10. It was ridiculous. Sorry the lighting's changing because the sun's literally going down as I'm talking right now. I'm gonna turn the light on. I would suggest bringing as much food as you think you'll need, and then maybe if you feel like eating out somewhere, like go ahead and do it, but it's always better to have more food than less food. Okay, and then another thing, I was reading like a lot of random comments and blog posts and stuff, and I heard a lot of people say that people only visit Lake Louise and not Moraine Lake, and I don't know, I guess Lake Louise is more popular or something, but I would definitely make sure to see both of them, because Lake Louise I think is more popular, but in my opinion Moraine Lake was a lot prettier, and they're not really the same. The water is just a little bit different. Moraine Lake was like brighter blue and clearer, and then Lake Louise was more of like a foggy, like kind of dusty blue. So yeah, you definitely want to make sure to see both of them. I definitely wish I would have gone in one of the like kayaks or canoes when I was there, because it looked really cool, and next time I go back I definitely want to do that. Like I said, I had dogs and we were kind of in a hurry, so we didn't really have time to do everything, but yeah, those are my tips. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you got something out of this video. They're kind of like not super in-depth tips, more like simple, but I don't know. And please subscribe if you like my channel, because I really want to make a lot more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.